I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
I can't judge Will Smith or Chris Rock because I see myself in both of those men. I am a lunatic. I am the man that has had enough and will slap the the next one says something that upsets me.
And then I saw that when I walked in them.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Dwayne Martin. I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and him.
Hollywood has never been very good at keeping its secrets. For decades, the entertainment industry has operated behind a velvet curtain, projecting a polished image of glamour and moral authority to the world, while quietly protecting the most powerful people within its walls. But the curtain is being pulled back, and the view is not pretty. At the center of this reckoning stands Will Smith, once the undisputed king of Hollywood, now a figure surrounded by mounting lawsuits, public controversy, and whispers that refuse to go away. And the people doing some of the loudest talking? Two men who have always had a complicated relationship with the Hollywood machine itself, Jim Carrey and Dave Chappelle. What makes this story so compelling is not just the fall of one man, it is what that fall reveals about an entire system. It is about who knew what, when they knew it, and why nobody said anything until the walls started caving in. The you-know-what files have cracked something open in the public consciousness. People are connecting dots they were never encouraged to connect before, long before the lawsuits and the leaked documents and the cascading headlines. Jim Carrey was already standing apart from the crowd when Will Smith walked onto the Oscar stage in March 2022 and slapped comedian Chris Rock in front of a global television audience. Most of Hollywood reacted with a stunned kind of silence. Some scrambled to defend Smith, some quietly looked the other way, and then the audience inside the Dolby Theater did something that shocked many observers, even more than the slap itself. They gave Will Smith a standing ovation when he won his Best Actor award just minutes later.
What do you think as you watched it unfold and then what happened after?
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment last night. You know, a lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun and to get their award for the really hard work they did. And it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. It's a gauntlet of devotion that you have to do. And it was just a selfish moment to cast a pall over the whole thing.
Jim Carrey was not having it. In a widely discussed interview with CBS's Gayle King the very next morning, Carrey made his position clear and sharp. He described being sickened by the standing ovation. He called Hollywood spineless en masse He said the moment was a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore. He argued that Smith should have been escorted out of the building and went further, saying he personally would have announced a $200 million lawsuit against Smith that very morning had he been in Chris Rock's position. What separated Carrey from most of his peers was not simply that he spoke. Many people had opinions. What separated him was that he was willing to say, out loud and on camera, that the institution of Hollywood itself had failed a basic moral test. He saw what that standing ovation meant. It meant the powerful protect the powerful. That insight, as it turns out, would age uncomfortably well.
Everybody acting like Will rebounded from the slap. Bro, when was Will down?
I mean, he was down.
He really wasn't.
No, he was down.
It was just social media. Like nobody ever turned their back on Will Smith.
It wasn't that he was down, but I just think that like he's a superhero to us. Like we grew up watching him in Fresh Prince. We saw him in all these superhero movies. Like he exemplifies what a superhero is. And then he was in this relationship where he was like seemingly being like emotionally abused. And
we say seemingly,
again,
right?
We don't know.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's our narrative.
It's exactly, it's all perception. But like even finding out about it, it's an open relationship and she's banging like their kids' friends and you're like, allegedly, well, not even allegedly, she was. And it's just like, well, superheroes wives don't kids' friends. Like it just starts to make him look
human.
That's not human.
That's all it did.
That's weird.
You know the best thing.
Name other humans with that.
You know the best. A lot.
Stop.
You know the best thing that happened to Will Smith over the last few years. He's been humanized, and that's what he wanted. Go back and listen to the Rap Radar interview that he did with B-Dot and Will Smith when they flew over to Tibet or wherever the was to sit down and have a conversation with Will Smith. And he's talking about how, you know, he had to keep up a perfect image his whole career. He couldn't even curse. He couldn't even be himself, yada, yada, yada. Then when you read his book, Will, you see a guy who's been wanting to take the mask off forever.
So yeah, it's like he's liberated. Like before he was a mind goblin and now he's liberated. Oh, you're getting good. He's getting good. I can't catch him anymore. The guy's getting good.
It's the look you do. If I look at you when you do it, you can't get me. If I'm just listening, I'm like, what was that? But if I look at you, it's like a mind goblin. He doesn't do things it's like a mind goblin. But that's all it is, man. It's good to see Will like this. I want to see what Chris does. Nobody's thinking about poor Chris.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but you know what though? I'm lying. We already saw what Chris did.
I mean,
Chris came out with special.
Yeah, the whole world watched his special.
Yeah, Chris won. It's over.
Yeah.
They both. We knew this already though. Neither one of them was gonna have anything happen to their careers in a negative way.
I mean, that's a cool interview. Get the both of them back together.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I know.
That would be fire, though.
I don't know if I don't know if Chris does it. It's really by Chris doing that, he can give Will so much back.
I don't think Will lost anything. He's got a freaking #1 movie 2 weeks in a row at the box office.
I'm not.
And nobody ever cared.
No, I'm not saying that he did. No. I'm not saying that he can't be an actor, but I definitely think that he lost some credibility in the public eye.
I don't think he lost credibility. I just think that we just realized.
What are you trying to say, Taylor? The blacks are more okay with violence? Is that what you're trying to say?
By the way, Stephen A. Smith disagrees with Taylor. Stephen A. Smith said that, you know, he lost credibility with mad black people.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Will lost any credibility. I think the only, because Will don't owe anybody anything. The only person Will owes something to is Chris.
Yeah.
And it's not even an owe.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, I did you dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gotta apologize to you. Hopefully one day you find it in your heart to forgive me.
Yeah.
If not, everybody got to deal with the energy they put out into the world.
Yeah.
That would be a good interview, you know. But
oh my God, just the two of them talking it out. Like, what's going on? What did you feel? What did it do to you? Like, I need you to understand what you did to me.
Do you realize Will Smith went on a whole press run for Bad Boys 4 and nobody asked him about it?
I'm sure that was part of it.
Oh, I'm sure the publicist.
Some people pay attention when the publicist asks them.
Well, that's
no wonder why they stayed away from certain platforms. So
he didn't come to Bad Boys. That's my guy though. But here's the thing.
He came already though, so it don't matter.
No, he did. He came for Bad Boys 3.
Dave Chappelle has always been a man who watches. It is part of what makes him one of the most perceptive comedians of his generation. He has spent years noting how power operates in Hollywood, how certain people are protected, how silence is rewarded, and speaking up carries a cost. His own career trajectory, including his famous decision to walk away from a $50 million comedy deal in 2005, was rooted in his discomfort with being used as a tool by a system he did not fully trust. When it came to Will Smith, Chappelle was at the Oscars that night. He was in the room. He experienced the tension firsthand and was famously confronted by a stage invader just days later while performing at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. In his subsequent specials and appearances, Chappelle kept returning to the slap, not simply as a piece of comedy material, but as a kind of cultural case study. He examined the way Hollywood had circled the wagons around Smith, the way the machinery of celebrity protection had kicked into gear, and how the industry's response said something deeply revealing about who gets shielded and why. Chappelle's history with Jim Carrey goes back decades, and both men share a distrust of the performance of morality that Hollywood likes to put on display. Two comedians who have both chosen, at different points in their careers, to say what others would not. When those two voices happen to be pointing in the same direction, it is worth paying attention to what they are pointing at. Whatever one makes of Will Smith's career choices, the legal landscape surrounding him has become increasingly difficult to ignore. The most recent and significant development came at the close of 2025, when violinist Brian King Joseph filed a civil lawsuit against Smith in Los Angeles County Court. The case alleges wrongful termination, retaliation, and a pattern of deeply troubling conduct that allegedly unfolded during Smith's Based on a True Story tour.
Developing this morning, a lawsuit is filed against Philly native Will Smith and his team. Our Liz Crawford is live for us at the Pulse Desk this morning. She is reading through the court documents. So Liz, what do we know so far?
Well, Jan, new information coming in overnight. A violinist who was touring with Will Smith last year is now suing him over retaliation allegations. So here's what we know. According to the lawsuit, the violinist, Brian King Joseph, says last March, while in Las Vegas for a performance, he returned to his hotel room to find random items, including a beer bottle, HIV medication, and a note that said, "Brian, I'll be back later, just us." Now, the lawsuit says the plaintiff feared that an unknown individual would soon return to his room to engage in sex with plaintiff. He says once he reported the incident to Smith's team, he was fired and told he was lying about what happened. And just coming in, a statement from Will Smith's attorney saying, "Mr. Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless. They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and to ensure that the truth is brought to light."
According to the complaint, Joseph was first hired by Smith in late 2024 to perform at a San Diego concert and was later brought onto the global tour. The suit alleges that Smith cultivated an unusually personal relationship with the violinist, reportedly telling him that they shared such a special connection that I don't have with anyone else. The lawsuit further alleges that during a March 2025 tour stop in Las Vegas, someone gained unauthorized access to Joseph's hotel room, leaving behind items and a note suggesting that an individual planned to return with intentions Joseph found deeply alarming. After reporting the incident to hotel security and Smith's management team, Joseph claims he was shamed and subsequently fired.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to talk about something really important. Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was because it's already a legal issue right now. But the reason why I'm speaking out about this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting conduct or safety threats at work is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you. And that's pretty much it. More updates to come soon. Thanks for listening.
Smith's legal team has categorically denied every allegation, calling the claims false, baseless, and reckless. The case remains active, but this lawsuit does not exist in a vacuum. It arrives alongside questions about the nature, power, access, and accountability that have been building around Smith for years. The public is watching, and the pattern is beginning to feel like more than coincidence. In November 2025, the United States Congress passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which was subsequently signed into law and triggered the release of millions of pages of documents, images, emails, and records related to one of the most disturbing scandals in modern American history. The Department of Justice released files in stages, with over 3 million pages becoming public by January 2026. What followed was an extraordinary period of public reckoning as journalists, researchers, and ordinary citizens worked through the material.
So like with people and the way they act, when I see people that are bitter now, that are just like are hurt for no reason or want to hurt people, I attribute it to something that happened to them when they couldn't protect themselves. Because I never got luckily. I never was traumatized when I couldn't defend myself. I was protected very well. I don't know who I would be if I got violated when I couldn't fight back. I'm lucky enough to be untraumatized, other than the things that other people are traumatized about, like death. Like I lost my mother at 16, but no one ever violated me. You know, I'm not mad at nobody. I don't feel like I have to get revenge. I do want revenge for Aaliyah's death. I just don't know who to get.
Right.
And I was crying the other day about that, but I don't know what the man. But it's getting weirder and weirder. But I just feel like if somebody really did that, then someone deserves someone should avenge her.
Gotcha.
It's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Everything that happens with this conspiracy, I gotta fucking know them. I don't want to deal with that shit. I'd rather be in the crowd and be like, I wonder if this is real or not. Like now I remember all these years they were saying I was in the Illuminati and I was, what the I don't have no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? I should have a lot more money. I'd have a lot more help. I don't have no brothers helping me. But now I'm like, I'd have really been in the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's inevitable now. It just, it seems like the Europeans needed to, because what I'm understanding, there was a war to keep the British out of America. So the only way they could get in America would be through someone that's American.
Right.
So it looks like they funded the Carnegie dude. He got his money from Europe. And I don't even believe the Rockefellers was like that even now. I don't even know if Mark Zuckerberg is like that. Anyone aggregating data, I'm like, you might work for the government. Someone just put you up there. If I can't figure it out, if I'm not like impressed with your logic when I speak to you, again, there would be certain people that are locked up now, and I'd be talking to them, and I'd be like, there's no business acumen. They don't even understand what's going on. How the they keep getting these deals? Where are they getting this money from? Like, I just be seeing people else money, and I just like, well, I know what you make. I know what you got to spend. I know about margins. I'm like, I don't know how you getting this kind of bread. So from now on, if I can't figure it out, you just pop up and you the Great Gatsby for no reason, you a spy. You know what I'm saying? Period. You either with Russia, Mossad, or, the government, CIA. But that's the way you get people. You their vices. You get them drunk, high, and then and it seems like they get you on camera, and then they mail you. And then you got to go against your friends. I don't think they want to. I think they got caught up.
The files contain flight logs, contact books, photographs, and communications connecting a vast network of influential individuals across politics, finance, media, and entertainment. Several high-profile names from the worlds of Hollywood and music appeared in photographs and documents, including figures from the worlds of film and television. Importantly, the presence of a name in these files does not automatically indicate wrongdoing. The documents acknowledge that many references are incidental and that some individuals were mentioned without any implication of criminal conduct. Nevertheless, The you-know-what files have fundamentally altered the public conversation about how powerful people in elite networks operated, how access was granted, and how silence was maintained over many years. The question that hangs in the air, particularly as it relates to Hollywood, is not simply about any one individual. It is about the broader culture of protection that Jim Carrey described so clearly after the Oscars slap. Who was protecting whom, and what exactly were they protecting them from? That question is now being asked with a new level of urgency. Something notable has happened to Will Smith over the past 2 years. A man who was once omnipresent, one of the most recognizable human beings on the planet, has quietly retreated from public life in ways that feel deliberate rather than accidental. Following the 2022 Oscars incident, he was banned from attending the Academy Awards for 10 years. His subsequent film releases underperformed. Hollywood insiders, speaking anonymously to various outlets, described a growing reluctance among studios and collaborators to work with him. The phrase that kept appearing in reports was telling. People are over it. His 2024 tour, titled Based on a True Story, brought its own controversies, including allegations that promotional videos used artificially enhanced or generated crowd footage to conceal the real size of the audience. Meanwhile, financial reports suggested Smith and his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who publicly revealed in 2023 that the couple had been separated since 2016, had been selling off properties in what observers described as financially motivated moves.
It's easy to understand why he needs a minute, but some people are having a tough time with Will Smith being asked to leave. I don't know that that's so. They're having a tough time that he was asked to leave after he assaulted someone?
I think the tough time may be that he was asked to leave and not told to leave.
Right.
And that he, after being asked to leave, refused to leave.
He said no.
That shows a lot of power, and we know he has a lot of Hollywood power, right? But it shows an incredible amount of entitlement and a misunderstanding fundamentally of what he had just done.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed to hear at first that the Academy didn't ask him to leave. Now I know the Academy did the right thing and asked him to leave, but he refused. So I wonder, you know, why does he just get to say, can you leave? I mean, most people would say,
I don't
come
think
with
that's,
me.
I don't think that's
You know?
how it went down.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Just gonna,
What do you think?
What happened?
I think that he was asked to leave.
But why did he get the option, is my question. I'm with Sonny on this.
Because I'm going to tell you why he got the option.
I think people want to know
that. Well, okay, so they come back from break.
Yeah.
Now, if he's in some sort of state and he's struggling and they're trying to get him out the door and it's still on camera. So it's a little bit, you know, listen, we work a live show every day.
Yeah.
We work a live show every day and stuff happens and it comes out your mouth or you do something stupid and you got to sit there and deal with it. I can't imagine what was going on. I wasn't there. I can't imagine what was going on back there. But I do know that the only person anybody should be focusing on, in my opinion, is Will Smith, not Packer. Will Smith.
But it was an assault. So I kind of feel like there's I think there needs to be a lot of self-reflection in Hollywood. I'm with Wanda Sykes on this.
As you know, from their thing, it says they recognize that maybe they could have done a better job.
Yeah.
But I'm pointing out that we here know how fast stuff happens. You remember what happened.
I remember what happened.
You know? And you suddenly, well, but it happened and there was nothing you could do. It was out. So stuff happens and I'm just saying, listen, those people who were there were stunned.
Yeah. But then they gave him a standing ovation, though, Whoopi, which I think, again, goes back to why some people feel like Hollywood elites are a bunch of hypocrites, because they go out there and they give these, you know, these statements of moral, you know, superiority about things and political statements, and then they're doing a standing ovation after he just assaulted.
As one of those people, I gotta stop you because
you would have given him a standing ovation?
I would not have stood up, but that has nothing to do with why people do. Have you, let me ask you a question.
In the moment, though?
In the moment. So you're sitting there, you're just gone, oh, no, you've gone, ooh, oh, what the, oh, yeah. and you're up. Before you even know you've done something stupid.
There was time in between.
I'm telling you what folks have said who were there.
But
okay.
you know,
That's what they're saying. And I just want to stop with this elite stuff because, you know, a lot of us work for a living. We work, we collect a check, we got families, we try to do the same thing, the good stuff that everybody else tries to do.
Then came the violinist lawsuit. Then came renewed attention from the public as the you-know-what files drew fresh scrutiny to the social networks of the powerful. Smith's name began appearing in online conversations connecting various threads together, even though no confirmed, documented connection to the files has been established. What is documented is his increasing absence from the public stage. In an industry that thrives on visibility, prolonged silence from someone of his stature raises questions that silence alone cannot answer. The story of Will Smith is not only a story about Will Smith, it is a story about a system. Jim Carrey understood this when he described Hollywood as spineless en masse. He was not simply criticizing an audience for applauding at the wrong moment. He was diagnosing something deeper, a structural tendency within the entertainment industry to protect reputation over truth, to circle the wagons around the powerful, and to punish those who disrupt the arrangement. Dave Chappelle has lived this reality. His decision to walk away from his career at its peak was rooted by his own account in his discomfort with feeling like he was being used to serve something he did not believe in. He has spent years in comedy talking about power, about who holds it, about how it operates invisibly and yet consequentially in the lives of those who exist within its orbit. His continued examination of the Will Smith episode was not simply about a slap. It was about what the reaction to that slap revealed. The you-know-what files have given all of this a new and uncomfortable context. They have shown, document by document, photograph by photograph, email by email, that the networks of the powerful and the privileged were far more interconnected than most people imagine. They have demonstrated the silence within these networks was not passive. It was active and often deliberate. Understanding what happened in those circles requires understanding the machinery that kept information contained. Jim Carrey and Dave Chappelle have, in their own ways, always been suspicious of that machinery.
Well, Will Smith's rep says the allegation is unequivocally false, and sources say Dwayne Martin believes the claim is so ridiculous he has no plan to respond. But we have been able to verify one statement made on this podcast.
Who needs enemies when they got friends like you?
That guy's a real jerk, huh?
That guy sucks. Yeah, it's so disgusting for this guy to say anything like that in the first place and then to put it on a podcast. Tasha K, no less. Tasha K got sued by Cardi B,
who won $3.4 million in a defamation suit. And there may be another one on the way.
What do you say about the allegations? Anything you want to say?
We sue it. Wow.
Pretty definitive. You know, but that's the interesting thing. To prove defamation, you have to prove it subjects you to scorn or ridicule.
And Will has precedent working against him.
True accountability in Hollywood has always been an uneven and often disappointing process. For every case that results in consequence, there are dozens that dissolve quietly into settlements, legal maneuvering, and carefully managed public relations. The entertainment industry has deep pockets, long memories, and a well-documented tendency to reward compliance and punish those who break ranks. What makes the current moment different is the confluence of forces that are making silence harder to maintain. The you-know-what files represent the most significant forced transparency exercise this generation has seen in terms of elite networks and their operations. Lawsuits filed by people like Brian King Joseph represent individuals willing to accept the professional and personal risks of going on record. Comedians and public figures like Jim Carrey and Dave Chappelle represent voices that, for various reasons, are willing to say publicly what many others only whisper privately.
Hey guys, Jackson Buhai here with TMZ, and it seems like Will Smith is in a lot of hot water regarding this new harassment lawsuit. Now, in a world where harassment lawsuits are frequently filed against celebrities, unfortunately, you may be sitting at home thinking that you know exactly what kind of allegations these are. Well, let me tell you, you don't, and we're going to get into them in just a second. Now, what I also want to get into is that these are just allegations. We are not going to know exactly what happened in this case until it reaches court. One other thing I want to add is that we reached out to Will Smith's lawyer, who had a lot to say regarding this lawsuit, and I don't think you guys are prepared for what he said to us, so stick around until the end to find out what he said. So if you remember, back in March of 2025, Will Smith launched his very first tour in over 20 years called Based on a True Story Tour. So lawsuit aside, this tour actually took the public by surprise, considering that Will Smith was coming off the back end of the major controversy that most have coined the slappening. Obviously, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. What shocked me in particular was that I didn't know Will Smith had fans. I mean, I knew he had fans, but not enough fans to fill multiple stadiums across the tour. No hate to Will Smith. Growing up, I loved Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but my God, that did take me by surprise. Okay, I'm getting off topic here, but let's continue. So, in launching this tour, Will Smith hired a violinist that goes by the name of Brian King Joseph. Now, that name may or may not ring a bell to you because Brian King Joseph has actually garnered a significant following on social media for posting his violin videos. Editor, roll the clip right here. He also appeared in America's Got Talent back in 2013 and has worked with a variety of big artists. Now, Brian here in this lawsuit is claiming that in November of 2024, Will Smith asked him to come over to his house to discuss an upcoming opportunity regarding his tour. Brian went over to the house and played the violin for Will Smith. Will Smith liked what he heard and subsequently played at a one-off show in San Diego before being invited to play on the rest of Will Smith's tour.
Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry.
So Will Smith and Brian cultivated a close relationship thereafter, with the lawsuit even stating that Will Smith at one point told Brian, "You and I have such a special connection that I don't have with anyone else." So fast forward to March of 2025 and the tour has begun and it starts in Las Vegas. Now in this lawsuit, Brian has alleged that Will Smith's team booked all of the hotels and their rooms in advance, according to him. So a little bit before the show starts, everybody checks into the hotel and everything seems fine at first, but the real kicker is when Brian returned to his hotel room, there were signs in his mind of a break-in. Now there are no signs of forced entry or burglary, but a piece of evidence is noted in the complaint. And this is where things really start to take off. I quote from the lawsuit, "The evidence included a handwritten note addressed to plaintiff by name, which read, 'Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30. Just us, drawn heart, Stone F.' Among the remaining belongings were wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, a bottle of HIV medications with another individual's name, an earring, and hospital discharge paperwork belonging to a person unbeknownst to plaintiff. Plaintiff feared that an unknown individual would soon return to his room to engage in sexual acts with the plaintiff. Concerned for his safety and the safety of his fellow performers and crew, plaintiff immediately notified hotel security and representatives for defendant, obtained photo documentation, requested a room change, and called the local non-emergency police line to report the incident." Now, what a lot of people are wondering is, does this substantiate Brian's claim of and could Will Smith's legal team argue against it entirely? Now, after the Las Vegas shows were done, Brian reached out to someone named Tim Miller. Now, the lawsuit doesn't explain who Tim Miller is, but we can conjecture that it's somebody that's in control of the tour or the performances. And when Brian asked for further reasoning, Miller blamed him for what happened in the hotel room just days prior in Las Vegas. I quote from the lawsuit again, "When plaintiff requested for further reasoning, Tim Miller, acting on behalf of defendants, redirected the blame for the termination onto plaintiff, replying, 'I don't know, you tell me, because everyone is telling me what happened to you is a lie. Nothing happened, and you made the whole thing up. So tell me, why did you lie and make this up?'"
Will Smith's situation sits at the intersection of all of these forces. He has not been found legally liable for any criminal wrongdoing as of this writing. His legal team vigorously contests every allegation made against him, but the court of public opinion operates on a different timeline and a different standard. When the surrounding context includes mounting lawsuits, a visible retreat from public life, renewed scrutiny from the you-know-what files era, and a broader cultural reckoning with how Hollywood is operated behind closed doors, the picture that emerges is one that demands continued attention rather than convenient dismissal. Evidence matters, context matters, and the whole truth, whatever it turns out to be, matters most of all. What we are witnessing in real time is the unraveling of a very old and very comfortable arrangement. For decades, Hollywood maintained the fiction that it was a meritocracy, that talent and hard work were the primary currencies, and that the darkness visible from the outside was either exaggerated or irrelevant. The you-know-what files, the lawsuits, the insider accounts, and the voices of people like Jim Carrey and Dave Chappelle are collectively dismantling that fiction piece by piece. Will Smith was once the symbol of everything Hollywood wanted to project to the world: charm, talent, work ethic, and the perfect family to match. The distance between that image and the emerging reality of his circumstances is not just a personal story. It is a window into a much larger set of questions about who gets protected in these elite spaces, what they are being protected from, and at whose expense that protection is maintained. The you-know-what files are still being processed. Lawsuits are still working their way through the courts. Public opinion is still forming, and the silence from Smith himself grows louder with every passing week. So here is the question we leave you with today. If Hollywood has been protecting its most powerful figures for this long, how many more stories are still waiting to be told? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.